All right, now it's working. Ready, Vic?
Yeah,
All right. What's up, NDL? We've got about 8 days left in the regular season. Things are starting to wind down. Those conference races are starting to tighten up. Some are very easy to tell what's going to happen. Some are, well, let's just say a TBD because there's some chaos, of course. Things are never easy. So we're going to talk about that. This will be a shorter episode because we don't have a lot to talk about. We're just talking about what's happened over the last week. So it's just going to be me and Mr. Vic for this one. Vic, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Watching this Peach Bowl and pleasantly surprised.
Hmm, putting it nicely. I remember I said when Indiana scored to go up right at the end of the first quarter, I was just waking up, call my mom, go to fix some food, and I come back like, what the hell happened? So you had to fill me in, like, well, another boots to asses for Indiana, and we'll see if they have one more left in them. Not gonna lie, I'm just gonna put this out here. No offense to Corey or any of the other Miami fans, but I hope it's a defensive showcase for Indiana because if it is, maybe we can get some defense on college football 27. So I'm really hoping for that. Give me a low scoring game and let Indiana's defense show out. 'Cause they've
I
looked
mean,
pretty good so far.
if they've been paying attention to the whole playoffs, this has all been about defense, really. It hasn't been about offense. It's about defense. This playoffs is like who has the better defense, and
Yeah, Debs,
you
I hope
know,
you're watching.
it has showed. It has showed throughout these whole playoffs.
Yeah, 'cause as Mike mentioned earlier, like clearly they can't be watching that much, or someone was saying like they could. I think it was Pat. They haven't been watching that much because Indiana's roster still does not look like it probably should, reflective of this
No,
run.
no, it does not. In Dynasty right now, they are at 84 overall. It does not.
Yep, no comment. We'll just leave that alone. I've done enough bashing over the last week in private, so I'll give them a break in public. It it just no comment. Well, let's jump into the conference races. Let's talk about what's going on. Like I said, some are really easy to talk about because the map is set. Chip done with his season at 10-2. He is 8-0 in conference play. Oh, he will be hosting conference championship matchup, and I just want to confirm as long as I'm pretty sure that one should be good. It looks like it should be against Buffalo, who's they got the win against Ohio, so they own the tiebreaker. It should be a rematch. Central Michigan against Buffalo. Buffalo like had that big setback. That was a rough game, rough start, but tried to fight back. Doesn't get all the way back, but finishes the season. He had a close game against Ohio, though. I did get to catch some of that, and I knew he had to win that game, and it was on the road. He kind of struggled some, but he was able to pull it out. Um, but showing some moxie there. He had the rough game against Chip, and then you're facing potentially a second loss in the season right in the face and able to muddle your way through it, figure it out, and he gets his rematch. So this is a two-part question for you. One, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for a rematch? And two, what do you think Buffalo's chances are of getting a split this season?
Hopefully, their chances are better than Oregon's chances in real life right now. Um, I feel like like I said, I just feel like knowing Andy how I do, not like personally, but just like play style. Cool dude personally. But just his play style, I don't feel like he was just ready for Chip and Chip style because Chip style is different than a lot of people in the NDL. Like he don't really come out in four wides or five wides or split the tight end out and stuff like that. He does, but not all the time. He'll come out in regular I form and single back and stuff like that. Two backs, split backs, the backfield, stuff like that. And I don't think he was just completely prepared for it. He may not admit that, but I don't think he was completely prepared for it. But I feel like this time around he will be completely prepared for it. Like I don't see Chip coming out the gate like he did the first game, but I see it being way closer, and I could potentially see Buffalo getting the split, but I'm not gonna doubt the Mount Rushmore that is Chip. I'm never gonna doubt Chip.
And it's going to be interesting because he had a close game again. He is in Buffalo, and he had a close game at Akron before he got into that block. So it's like, almost, but not quite. So it makes you wonder if potentially he knows that game is looming. You get up for, you get excited, but then you have a almost have a setback against Akron. Playing someone more than once in a season is always interesting because the onus is always on the loser to make the adjustments. And then the question is, what do you adjust? Do you need to adjust your scheme? Do you need to, like, was it a handful of plays that, maybe decided a game? So maybe you don't run this play. Maybe in this situation, you avoid giving this look. But now that you've been able to see what Central Michigan's offense looks like up close and personal, it's one thing to watch someone play and get a feel for how they play. It's another thing when you're actually in, the coach's headset, trying to make adjustments, trying to make calls, trying to figure out what to do in certain situations while it's actually happening and getting that type of experience because now it's like, okay, if I gave him this look, if I come out in this look again in a rematch, am I going to get the same reaction? Is he going to, cover the slot receiver if I come out in this formation? If I come out in this set with short yardage, is he going to, be trying to gear up to stop the run? It's really interesting when you have those things happen because it becomes almost a totally different chess match, but the onus is always on the loser to make the adjustment. Chip already showed that he can win. So Andy's going to have to definitely make some changes in the second game. But I do think that this will be a close game going into the fourth quarter. Will be a one-score game. I don't want to make a prediction yet. I need some time for that, but I do think that this will definitely be the matchup that we were hoping to get in the regular season.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I hope he makes the adjustments, and I believe he will make the adjustments. It's just seeing those adjustments, throughout the second game. And no prediction here for me neither. Nah, it's too early for all that.
Yeah, we got a whole another week.
Got a whole nother week. Got a whole nother week.
Well,
All right. The
yeah, you can go
next
ahead.
one would be the Mountain West, and that's pretty much decided as well, as we got old Coach Tutty, the good old OC with Fresno State. He still has a couple of games to play, but is undefeated in conference. Pretty much has locked up the first slot and will get the home game in the conference championship. But the second slot was played out between Boise State and San Diego State. Somebody didn't get a text or a notification, but it was played on a late night, and Boise definitely got the win. Um, excuse me. Boise got the win 31-30. It was a close, highly contested game as always, back and forth throughout. But the Broncos was able to go ahead and come away with the victory there. Um, how do you see this conference title game shaping out between Boise and Fresno.
Well, first, I'm really sad because definitely did not get any notification whatsoever that the game was gonna get played. Not even like a text would have been nice because I would have watched, but it is what it is. I just found out about the result 5 minutes ago. So yeah.
This would be a rematch, by the way, as well for the milk can trophy. Um, Fresno did beat Boise 35-14. So just like we said in the other conference championship with the MAC, do you think iRock will make the proper adjustments needed now that he's seen what Tutty can do with that Fresno State team? Do you think he will make the proper adjustments to make it just a closer game this time?
There's two parts to it. So one, watching that game against Fresno, there was an early fumble. I believe it was the first possession of the game Boise had. They fumbled the ball, Fresno gets it, and then they end up scoring. And then just like you're fighting an uphill battle. You're gonna have to try to stop the running back, but then momentum is swinging the other way. And it was one of those games where you could probably do things to help yourself more, but you're also going to have to find some way to shift back the momentum so that you can kind of get like comfortable in the game, Like I feel like when the momentum is against you and you recognize that it is, some people either panic or some people have to go way outside of their comfort zone in order to find a way to shift it back. Boise has to have a better start in the rematch. Not saying that they're going to have to score on their first drive, but they just can't put themselves behind the eight ball. It's going to be on the road. You're going to have a better first half. I'd say ideally a really good first quarter to kind of keep things neutral in terms of what's going on behind the scenes with momentum. Just keep yourself in the game. And also, we know Boise does like to run the ball. He'll give it to multiple running backs. There's no Genty on this team, so he'll use multiple. But you have to keep yourself in a situation where you're able to let the run work for you, have it open up the pass game. You don't want to fall behind where you're just forced to pass and take away the strength of their offense. We'll have to see. The first quarter is going to be the telling story for me in this game for Boise.
Yeah, got to get off to a fast start. They did not get off to a fast start at all in that whole entire first half in the first matchup. So definitely got to get out to a fast start if you're Boise. That is definitely the key to making that close is getting out to a fast start for him.
Yep, more games are lost in the first quarter. Like this, when you just cannot let things snowball early. Got to keep things under control. If that means you have to go conservative, that's fine. Just get yourself to the second half.
Definitely, definitely got to get to the second half and survive because you never know. People start playing tight and mistakes happen. So you definitely got to get into the second half,
Yeah. Well, at
especially
least,
with a lot on the line. Especially with a lot on the line because potentially that has CFP stakes with that. So it could definitely be a lot on the line.
yeah. If anyone hasn't seen Pirate Flag's video for this week of the NDL, this last one was pretty damn funny. So yeah, all the G5s, patting each other on the back, supporting each other, but secretly behind the scenes, like,
Yeah,
just win, screw this team. So yeah, that was
USL for
hilarious.
Temple and
Definitely
Fresno.
his best work. Definitely his best work. I got such a kick out of that.
She thinks she got a shot.
Oh man.
Oh man, that was funny. That was definitely funny.
Yeah. But unfortunately for us, guess what? Those are really the only conferences that are kind of set in stone. The other three are, well, two of the other three are, an easier road to tell what's going to happen. The
And the
last
last
one,
one is a mess.
Yep.
Last one is a mess.
So we'll move to mine next because since I'm in the mix of it, I can tell you how things can play out. So Conference USA, I'm
Yes, sir.
just sent IROC a message not too long ago, like maybe an hour ago, and we were laughing like, yeah, like I legitimately could have a one loss conference record and not even be able to trigger a tiebreaker. That's actually pretty. I don't know if that's happened before in the NDL. Like that to me, that's actually pretty crazy. Um, it just shows when you don't play everybody, every game does matter because the wrong loss could be what puts you out. So the way things look in Conference USA right now, you have Liberty, who's undefeated in conference play. They're at 4-0, but they have some games open, and I really hope that the games get played. I don't, no one wants to see things come down to a sim.
Not at all.
So you have Liberty, who's 7-1 overall, having a great season. It was talked about on game day. Tim brought them up. Their only loss on the season is to Clemson on the road, and it was by 10. So just rolling right now, 7-1. A potential dark horse potential to the CFP, depending on how things play out. Undefeated in conference play, Middle Tennessee versus um me, Western Kentucky. I was like, what team do I have again? I can't remember. He got the win earlier in the week, so he also remains undefeated. So I don't know what to tell you, Vic. He's 5-0 in conference play. Liberty's 4-0. They still have games to play. I assume that those two teams will probably win out. And again, you just don't want it to come down to Sims being a factor. But do you see those two teams in the conference championship game? I guess is the only question I have. I don't know where else to go with this.
Hopefully Sims don't play out. But they're they're kind of quiet, so I don't know. But hopefully Sims do not play out. Right now, as it stands, they are favorite to go ahead and get there, but it is a chance for you if Middle Tennessee State loses to a common opponent, aka Sam Houston or someone like that, then there is a chance for you to jump on in there because of the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker being common opponents. Same with Liberty if they lose to a common opponent that you've already faced, like a FIU, and that you already beat, then that'll be the tiebreaker for you as well. So you do still have a shot. It is crazy that we have in this whole conference, it's a lot going on. Like you have a guy that's 9-3, but their only three losses are in conference. That's crazy. And then you have someone that's 5-1 in conference, but they're 5-5 overall. That's even crazier. Then you got you with just one conference loss, and it's like you on the outside looking in, and then we have two undefeateds, all within the same conference. It's a lot going on in this conference.
Yeah, there is.
But there still is a chance for you. There still is a chance.
I might pull the big Mike. I don't know if you saw if you saw me and Mike's interaction in the Big 12. Let me see if I can scroll up and find it real quick. Um, I was poking some fun at him because we've had some talks at the end of our seasons when we were both at in the Florida schools. Oh, of course I'm not gonna find it, am I? Oh,
Nah,
wrong
you can find
conference.
it.
I gotta go. I'm going to the Big 12. No, but he
This was this was before I was in it, huh?
no. So Mike, when he finished his season, finished it out with a dub. He's like, I'm just happy it's over. And I just come in right behind him and just type out bowl game, long. like you're yelling "bowl game" and he's like "symbol."
Yeah.
So Mike's like, "I just want the season to be over. I don't care." But I wonder how I like. It's funny because I was actually talking about it last night. Like, man, it's gonna be interesting because knowing with the CFP, it's gonna be a weird layoff because if you already finished your season, if
Like
you
me, I am done.
yeah, if you have a bowl game, like Crosses in the chat saying he considers his season a success, I would too. Especially like, you were one of the last people to pick in the draft. You're new to the league, and it
He was.
yeah,
He
you
was.
had a good season. I remember talking like we were talking about that live on the draft the draft show around the time that he was
It
up to
was a
pick
lot of
the CFP.
hits. It was a lot of hits now that you think about it. When we took over and it was a lot of hits. Him, Chop, Chrome, who else? I'm thinking K Dot was a part of that too.
Yeah, those late
Like
picks,
it,
just find a good situation and make the best of it for sure.
yeah,
Um, it'll be interesting
definitely,
though. But
definitely.
it's if you have a bowl game, so there's going to be an extra week to finish the last block of the season. So if you have a bowl game, you have one game to play probably over the next month because we need another week to finish the season. We need a couple of days for the conference championship. The CFP is going to meet again. You got to announce the bowl games and the playoff bracket. And then, they're running, alongside each other. Then coach scores, then declarations, then setting a weekend for the draft. It might be 5 weeks. I don't want to think that
Oh,
far
it's gonna
ahead.
be a long time. If
So
I
this is
if
a,
I make
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If I make a bowl, I'm probably gonna play one game in the next 6 weeks. I finished my season. Jesus, when did I finish? Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. I finished my season.
It was a good feeling too,
So in
wasn't it?
between time, yeah, in between then, no, I think it was Monday. So Monday, I finished my season. So I'm gonna have that game and potentially a bowl game, and that'll be two games in about 6 weeks. So anybody that's in that category of they finished their season, like I can run it. I'm gonna just go G5, like Temple, um, my guy UTEP, Omaha, Mr. Audible, you, Chip. Well, Chip gonna have a couple more games.
Yeah.
Um, Tar UNC Hill, Dub, my guy Dub, Lick at Washington State, and a few others that's Power Five as well. Um, Shiesty at ULL and D Nazi at ULM. They all finished their season along with a few others that I didn't name. They're all in the same boat as me. Probably gonna have two games in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue into drop a shout out to Andy, the NIT. I know he's already been looking to recruit some people. That could be an opportunity for you to help pass the time if you're listening. If you aren't going to play in a bowl game, or you are, but just want something to help pass the time as you're waiting for the playoffs to wind down and the transition to season 35, join the NIT. I'm pretty sure you have to use your team. I can't remember 100%. I do remember Nittler saying he's hoping he doesn't have to because he does not want to play another game with Purdue, which I found funny.
I,
But I could understand why looking at that roster. But it
I,
just gives
I love
you a chance to kind of keep your skills fresh, keep the fingers loose as you're waiting for the season to wind down.
I love how Andy has that, but didn't do it for his own conference that he commissions. But it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, it's coming. We know it'll be there. So for I want to say there's two separate ones. There's one where he does groupings based off of like kind of the NIT in a sense where it's the team slash the coach, the success, all that, like kind of trying to put teams in a reasonably competitive bracket. And then also one for people that aren't playing in bowls at all, just so they have an
Yeah, I seen
opportunity to
that one.
play some
Yeah,
games.
I think
So,
I seen that one. Yeah, I think I seen that one already.
so if you're one of those guys that doesn't or gals that doesn't like to turn the game off, definitely look for Andy to give you more information on that going forward. Speaking of information, there is one game that is going to factor, well, pretty much exactly into what's going to happen for a conference championship berth, and that is going to be in the Sun Belt. As on one side, it's very clear James Madison finishes 6-1, or well, they're not finished, but they have one more conference game, and even if they lose, they own the tiebreaker over App State, so they'll win the East Division. That's a lock. The question is what was going to happen on the West. There was one game that we knew was going to have a big impact. That was going to be Southern Miss and Troy. But the other game that I think got forgot about was a game against the Louisiana teams. Shiesty was in the mix because he just had one conference loss. So potentially, if he would have been able to beat the Nazi, depending on who wins versus Troy and Southern Miss, it actually could have put Shiesty in the in the front seat for the West or given them the West crown. But D Nazi able to get the rivalry win, and it was one of those games I got to see a good chunk of it. He was stepping on the gas immediately and had Shiesty on his heels a lot in that game. Was able to build a pretty solid lead and just hold on in the final quarter and a half. So now Southern Miss versus Troy for all the marbles. I know we talked about it last week in the Outliers. I know Game Day talked about it. Have your thoughts changed on this game?
On the on which game?
Southern Miss Troy. So I think we both went with Southern
Mm,
Miss. Have your thoughts changed? Because now we know for sure this game is going to decide who wins the division.
this game is going to decide it. Yes, yes, we did call that early. We did call it early. We called it last week. He his two best two players all serving the suspension, right? For Southern Miss. Yes, no.
Yep.
Okay. Um.
I can tell you, David seems quite motivated to be the underdog.
See, he was quite motivated to beat Illinois too, and that didn't go so well.
Oh, I know. We just weren't going to bring that up.
So his level of that's funny. I got a text message. I'm sorry.
Right.
So his level of commitment to the underdog role, I don't know if I'm just confident in that because he was confident. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat Illinois. All right, let me tune in." Yeah, that didn't happen. So I don't know. I'm still rolling with Southern Miss. I'm not too confident, dude. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, man.
This is just
You
one
can't
of
you
those.
can't you can't say I'm cherishing the role of underdog twice in a row, and then the first time you said that you kind of got BTA, and it's just like I don't know if I can trust it the second time. I was with you the first time. I was with you, but then the second time, now that this is the second time, and the other coach is motivated and even more motivated now that some suspensions has been dropped down on them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna still go with Big Red. I'm gonna still go with Big Red.
I'm just
It,
a when it comes to this, I'm just a very simple guy. Like I'm a believer when it comes to sports of there being I don't want to say like it has to play out that way, but I feel like you learn how to win, if that makes sense. Like it's a process versus you just instantly go from, you know, you just instantly just ascend up the mountain. There's always going to be adversity. You get the setbacks, you have to rebuild, you have to recalibrate. I need to see you in one of these situations and have success before I'm going to say, okay, in the future I can look at it. It's no knock on Troy. He's had a great season, but this is the biggest NDL game he's had. This is the first time he's been able to be in a conference championship, situation this late in the season. So I don't know what to expect. And because of that, I just solely have to go with someone who I've seen do it before in Big Red in different situations, different teams playing well, not playing well. Like I just have more of a sample size from Big Red to say if I'm going to like if it's like a stock, I've been feel more invested in Big Red because I feel like it's a safer stock. Too much
yeah,
volatility potentially with Troy. So
yeah. I feel the same. I feel the same way. He's been in these situations before and came out victorious. So he's been in big games, and this is Duvid's first time really in the spotlight and doing big games and stuff like that at the end of the season. So I definitely got Southern missing Big Red in this matchup. And like I said, I'm sorry. It's nothing against you, dude. It's nothing against you at all. It's just you said the same thing against Illinois, and I saw what happened. So it's hard for me to pick you again. It's hard for me to be behind you again. That's all.
I will say of the games left in the regular season, at least in the G5, this is the one that interests me the most. So I
Oh,
believe we have a time for it too. I had it up. I know it's getting played
yeah, I
on the
think
11th.
it's Sunday. Sunday. Sunday at I think in the afternoon, evening time.
Yeah, so we have a time for it. It is at 10 p.m. Eastern,
Oh, well, late night.
so
Sorry
a
about
night
that.
game. So the Vic watch,
Thanks.
I'm sure, will be around.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
after we
We'll be
watch
over.
some teams get their ass whooped in the NFL, not naming any names because, well, I don't want to talk about the NFL right now.
Well, shit, we talking about Sunday night. If we talking about Sunday night, the Chargers better get that ass whoop. I got money on the Patriots. Oh, I got big money on the Patriots and Rams. Let's just say it like that. Um, I need them to go far as possible.
Mm, I'm not
I
going to
mean,
argue.
all the way far. I need both of them to go all the way far because it's big money for me if they go to Santa Clara.
Well, I know that team wasn't. Team in NFC, I feel strongly in. I'm still a very strong believer in the Rams from an outsider's viewpoint. We'll see
I am
about the
too.
Chargers. I'm curious to see how they
I
do.
no, I don't have money on the Chargers. I got money on the Patriots.
Ah, gotcha,
Patriots
gotcha.
and Rams. Patriots and Rams.
Okay.
I got both of them coming out the conferences. It's about $500 on the line. I gotta check the exact amount again, but about $500 on the line for both of them coming out of each conference.
Yeah, and since he's in the chat, just I feel like we have to give him a little more love. Glizzy has entered the chat, and he
Oh,
did like
lazy all day
we
long.
did mention that he no he won the East. Not that it's an oversight on my part. It's just that it's easy. Like we have something finalized. Awesome, but great season with James Madison, and we'll have to see what he does in the draft next season. Maybe he wants to run it back. Maybe him and Brady have had some chats like, you know what? This was a fun season. Let's run it back to end 26, or maybe
He,
he's on the Lane Kiffin train and already talking to some teams, without his season being finished. Who knows?
he may be. He may be. I saw his game against Coastal Carolina, and it was very impressive. It went from 10-7 to 35-10 within a heartbeat. So very impressed. Very impressed. He does know how to use that Duke squad, and we will see you in the Sun Belt Championship.
If I remember correctly, I uh man, trying to remember. Last season he had Jacksonville State, right? I know he had a winning season. I want to say that he had. I
He
can't
has
remember if it was
had Jacksonville State before. I think he went
I think he went and
into the
won the
Power
conference
Four.
championship.
Yeah. No, he was. Oh no, was he the one?
I think he
He
won
lost
Conference
to
USA
Jose.
last season. Or no,
No,
he
no,
yeah,
he
yeah, he was
lost
the runner up,
lost
runner
to
up.
Jose. Yeah, yeah, he was the runner up. Yeah, 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 he was.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to redact NDL history and, take our pregnant friend out of the championship and, get rid of his accomplishments, but it just slipped my mind. I apologize. But yeah, he was the one that played him in the conference championship. Oh, hey, he got a chance to get his first, and then we'll see from there. So, I mean, already having success in Conference USA, now having success in the Sun Belt, maybe he decides, like Joker's, like, hey, I kind of like this G5 life. Let's stay down here and see what we can accomplish. So, first things first, see what he does in this next game, whether it's Southern Miss or Troy. I'm sure it'll be a really fun watch. I'm looking forward to it. And then we save the chaos for last, the American. Boy, oh boy. Things have just I feel like it's just like a video game that just has a plot twist, and then just when you feel like you're getting comfortable with what's happening, then it just throws another one at you. You had South Florida. No, I love you, Jordan. I'm sorry. But they're looking like, hey, all we have to do is just finish the job. And then UAB is a sneaky, sneaky squad. We talked about that earlier this season. They played Memphis close, and then they pulled the upset off against South Florida. Some fumbles late, and South Florida wasn't able to cash in on, with points, especially that last one. One of the crazier animations I've actually never seen this animation in the game is a hit stick fumble, and you had a corner laying on the ground by the ball, and he actually reached out with his arm and grabbed the ball. I've never seen that before. Normally, it's just either scoop or dive. So that was interesting to me. Like, oh, so we have other animations in the game. Kind of nice to see. Um, and then just when you thought, okay, well, that's going to throw things into chaos, then Temple losing to North Texas, giving up a fourth
North
and forever
Texas.
after taking a delay of game, and still deciding to go for it anyway and converting, pulling was it the Eagles Packers, the fourth and 16, fourth and 19? I can't remember what it was, but I remember it might have been 20 something, but I just remember being completely like, I can't believe that just happened. So now it's just thrown the American into some chaos. You've got South Florida at 6-1. You've got East Carolina and UAB at 5-1. And then you've got Temple and a group of teams with two losses. Obviously, there's still more games to play. So, Vic, two questions for you. One, those upsets, your thoughts, and two, how do you see this playing out?
The upsets was crazy. For one, that was crazy. Two, gotta shout out, big shout out to Drew Baca. That man, when I tell you, I feel like a proud dad. He proud. We probably the same age, but I feel like a proud dad. I swear I did. I swear I did. I almost shedded a tear. I swear I did. I couldn't believe it. Not in that type of way, but it was just like, man, he been grinding so long and going through everything to get a good win like that says everything. And I love it. Love it. That's what the NDL is about right there. You never know what styles match up with who when it's a first time matchup. You never know. Unless you're facing Jiggy, then you kind of know. But other than that, other than that, you never know when it comes to these matchups, these first time matchups, and who faces with who. So it's good to see a good win and a good upset by Drew Baca there. Like, and he's still in the race. Like, technically, he's still in the race. It's like an outside of an outside chance because he did lose to UAB and USF. So it's like a very outside chance, but he's still in the race.
Yeah, to be in it this late in the season is still like pretty good. Like you definitely will take that. And as we talked about pre-pod, North Texas are going to look better going into next season.
Oh yeah, they get a huge addition. Well, not really huge addition, but a huge addition play wise because they get the running back, my running back from West Virginia. He has transferred to North Texas. So if you don't know, I am the West Virginia coach for people who don't know. And for also who people who don't know, I have an exciting running back in Jaheim White. He has 2,000 total yards with me back to back seasons. Um, one of the most electric running backs in the game. Has 94 speed, has gold shifty and platinum 360 and sidestep. And once he gets in the zone, it goes to platinum shifty and Heisman sidestep in 360. So he can catch, has like 90 change of direction. It's a lot going for him. So the running game will take off for him next game, but
Yeah.
he does lose his quarterback though. He does lose his quarterback though. That
Yeah.
is one thing. He does lose his quarterback, but he gains a running back, an explosive running back.
And
So
explosive those guys in space. Like regardless of how next
yes,
year's game plays, regardless if it's a more defensive game, please, yeah. But if it is, or if it isn't, the shifty backs are the scary ones because if you, for those of you that are older, you remember back playing on the PS2, PS3, it was like, I don't want to say a vacuum, but it felt like you got pulled into players sometimes for different animations. That definitely isn't the case as often now. Like I feel like trying to tackle a shifty running back was far easier on far like earlier generations because there was a window of space, and if you got in that space, it triggers an animation. But that window was smaller as we've gotten more technologically advanced. So those small backs are a lot harder to get a hold of. And then they're, as we've seen this year, they are super slippery. I don't know if that changes a whole lot next year's game, but man, in the G5, that's a very dangerous weapon. Like he was dangerous in the Power Four. Imagine in the G5, even if you nerf his ability some, just keeping some of them with the lack of defensive talent as a whole in the G5. Oh, that's scary. That is scary.
Yes, he's gonna definitely do damage in the G5. Uh as far as the race is concerned,
Before you go about the race, let me
go
give you
ahead,
some info. So,
go ahead.
South Florida is 6-1. Their loss was to UAB. Their last game
Yes.
is against Rice. East Carolina is 5-1. Their loss was to Temple. They have Charlotte and Florida Atlantic on the schedule. They didn't play. Well, obviously they didn't play South Florida
Well,
because.
they really have just Charlotte because
Oh
shout
yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
to
I
the
forgot.
FAU guy. He went through a bad accident. Prayers up to him and his family.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that until you said the name. You said hold like just him like hold on why, and then I looked at the name like oh yeah I remember the pictures.
Yeah,
Ugh,
prayers up to him and his family. Help. Hopefully everything will be okay.
yeah, that is some scary stuff, especially for the kids,
Definitely,
especially for the
definitely,
kids.
definitely. So he just has the game against Charlotte there for ECU.
Okay, and then UAB has played South Florida, obviously, does not play East Carolina, and the last two games are Rice, which I know they were trying to get it in tonight. Um, I I don't think they were going to be able to get it in until Saturdays, but that's when like it would be sim, so I don't know like what happens with that game and then Tulsa. So it'd be weird. So in a three, if all three teams went out, it becomes a three-team tiebreaker. Head to head does not matter in the loss to between UAB and USF because I believe it goes to common record against common opponent. But and I since they didn't lose to each other, it's so confusing. Like this is one of those I need to see more so I can understand what's going to happen. This is going to be probably a headache for the AAC commission. Yeah, I think all three
Yeah,
teams if I think all three teams are gonna win out. If UAB doesn't, depending on what happens with that UAB Rice game, I think all the other games will be played out. And like UAB plays good defense, which is hard to do on this year's game. But I've got to watch UAB play a couple times. Like, man, just the I would be terrified. And I'm a guy that likes my defense to be on the field at the end of the game because I feel like over the course of four quarters I have enough information. I would rather be on defense. I feel like I have a better chance of finding a way to generate a stop in general. I'm not talking about this year's game cycle, just in general. I would rather have my defense on the field. The pressure on offense that have to make plays and defensively, you've seen this person play for four quarters. You have an idea of what they are trying to do, what they want to do. Can I take away area X? Can I disguise area Y? Can I force the ball where I want to force it to try to get a turnover? UAB is really the only team I feel confident when I see them on the field at the end of the game defensively. Like, okay, this is the strength of the team. They're going to find a way to get a stop. Other than that, it's all offense. So I don't know how
yeah.
this plays out. I really don't.
Who does UAB have again? Who do
Rice
they
and
have again?
Tulsa.
Rice and Toast.
Yeah, Rice is
Ooh.
this block or block six. Tulsa's block seven. Both are at home. East Carolina will have Charlotte on the road. Charlotte's had a good, pretty solid season, but 3-4. So I haven't taken a look, but I'm assuming if you're 3-4, that some Sims are probably coming. So I haven't looked in
Yeah,
the extended, and I'm not like I don't frequent the AAC chat enough to know if Bowmaster's super active, but no game since Block 5 has been played. So that's 4 games that need to be played by midnight that are not probably not going to get
not
played.
gonna get played. Yeah.
Hate to see it because it's
So
going.
more than likely, it's gonna be a three-way tie. More than
Good luck,
likely, we
Commissioner.
will get the three-way tie because with South Florida having Rice, I know uh, Rice will probably get the games in. So unless he upsets somebody, because USL versus Rice is in the current block, so they still have time. Um, and I believe UAB and Rice is block 6 because we're in block 7, correct?
Yep,
Yeah. So block 6 and block 6 deadline is tonight, or is it block 5?
5 and 6.
5 and 6. So they might not get the game in tonight. They may not. So that may be a possible sim there. So I look at this as a tie unless it's like something happens in the sims, but this is more than likely going to be a three-way tie.
So I had to pull it up because I wanted to know. So in a multi-team tie, it's going to be head to head first. It looks like, but head to head can't apply because in order for a head to head to apply, that means all 3 teams had to have played each
And,
other.
and East Carolina didn't play UAB.
Yep, and South Florida didn't play East Carolina. So
Carolina.
head to
No.
head's going to be out the picture. So the next tiebreaker step is highest ranking of the tied teams in the latest available CFP. So CFP committee, sorry, you're probably going to have to do some extra work because we're going to need you to. You may have to
Lord,
get factored into this, and then this becomes interesting.
that's gonna
So
be rough for them. That's gonna be rough. That is gonna be rough for them.
this is man, this is going to be such a this could be such a bad like unfortunate situation. So just going off the rankings, top 25, East Carolina 17, South Florida's 25. South Florida just lost, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the CFP ranking. But I would probably guess,
So that would take UAB out the tiebreaker then, potentially.
well, what it would do is it would force it to 2. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming because East Carolina lost earlier, they stay ranked higher. And I'm just going off of the top 25, not the CFP, but just off
Yeah.
the top 25, East Carolina, my my guess in this moment would be ranked higher. Thus, they advance, so to speak, out of the 3 team tiebreak, and then it becomes a 2 team tiebreak between USF and UAB. Then head to head would play a factor, and UAB would advance. And that's how you would determine the 3. But when the committee meets, if they determine that USF is the higher rated team, again, assuming that things play out where it becomes a 3 team tiebreak, then it becomes a 2 team tiebreaker between East Carolina and UAB, and then yeah, so it.
What's the tiebreaker after that? So it's still the CFP. So both are ranked in
Well,
the
in a 3 team
CFP.
tiebreaker, it's going to come down to the CFP ranking, which team is rated
Mhm.
higher. Then that's one spot. That team is going to be the home team. Then it becomes a two
Mhm.
team tiebreaker with the teams that are left.
Okay. Yeah. So the CFP decides. That's fair.
Yeah, so
You don't
in
have
the
a third party bullshit sports analytic bullshit.
so it could make some extra work, and it depends because then in a 2 team tiebreak. Um, this is really interesting. So listen to this. So two-team tiebreak, obviously head to head comes first. Then the second, if there is no head to head result and one of the teams was ranked in the latest available CFP selection committee rankings and doesn't lose in the final weekend, it will be declared a championship game participant. Didn't even know that was a thing in any of the conferences. So yeah, just hey, you were already ranked in the CFP. Now, rank depending on how far down you go is another question. Because I know that the committee, I believe they don't really like they don't go deep, deep down. But that's interesting that you wouldn't even like just as long as you win at the end, you're fine. But it looks like that's what it's going to come down to. Unless it depends on how far the committee goes down. So I guess ultimately is how far down do the CFP rankings go? Say, for example, if it's top 25. So if either of those teams would be ranked in the top 25, and I'm saying East Carolina or South Florida, because in a two-team tiebreak, it would be one of them. That ranking or being ranked would determine give them an opportunity to play for the college football, for the college football, for the AAC championship. So it wouldn't even go into like common games and all that stuff. Very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It breaks down. It definitely breaks down after a while. But I feel like that's where we're headed with that conference is a 3 team tiebreak.
Yeah, because then it goes down to you have to get all the way down to the seventh tiebreaker, and then it jumps to common conference opponents, then highest overall win percentage, um, conference and non-conference. So your total schedule, which is kind of weird that it includes non-conference when it's talking about competing for a conference championship. But I mean, it is what it is. That's really interesting. But the CFP definitely has some work to do potentially for the AAC. That's the bottom line. That said, all of that, of the three potential teams, what matchup would you like to see? I feel like we're going to say the same thing, but I'll ask you first
USF ECU, USF ECU.
because we just like chaos. Because
We do.
that would make it would make things potentially interesting if we talk about that G5 spot or
Yes, for the CFP. Yes, yes.
or potentially two G5 spots. I saw I saw
Potentially,
someone bring that up in chat, and I just put my head down, like, nope, not gonna comment.
potentially, we could see that.
So yeah, like the way this finishes out could actually be very interesting, very very interesting.
We could see real life chaos if I don't think it's gonna happen personally to G5s because I know what team would have to lose, and I don't think that team is gonna lose.
I
Out the Power Four, I know a team has to lose um, in the Power Four for that to happen. And if people are wondering in the chat, is Utah, and I don't think Utah is losing. So
I really hope not because I need Pat to be there. That's a tough loss against
nah,
Jaguars.
he's there. He's there. He's there.
Yeah,
Like, cause
he already
with
played
him,
Collins earlier in the Mr. Ryan Collins earlier in the season, and
cause
it's a rivalry game too. Oh man, that just
yes,
makes things
yes it
interesting
is.
too.
Yes
So
it is.
a rival matchup twice in the season. That's actually kind of funny. But
He has been the only team to stop LJ Martin. He is the only team. If you look at the numbers, and I will say this in the Heisman preview, in the Heisman article coming up over the weekend, because that article is coming up over the weekend. Since we have time in this 2 week window for the last block. Um, I will highlight that, the next game is Utah, and the only team to stop him this season is Utah.
All right. Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him. But as someone said earlier on this month, this is the year of Pat. So we're all rooting for Pat.
Definitely.
No pressure, no
Definitely.
pressure. Not trying to throw any pressure. Just saying we're rooting for Pat to get into the CFP and have a really good show in there.
Now I think he's gonna get the job done. That's why I said I don't see it being two G5s. I see it being just one. And it would get pretty interesting if we have a USF ECU conference championship game.
Yeah, I think it would have helped the cause if South Florida and ECU both could have gone into that situation being 11-1 and both ranked.
Well,
Um,
one will potentially, one will.
one will, but both would have been nice. I feel
Yeah,
like depending on when you start to talk
but you
about
but you
resume.
can't you can't fault for South Florida scheduling hard like they did. They scheduled up.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of all we have to talk about. But I'm going to pose a random question to you because it's like we're just still waiting for more results, so it makes it a little bit
Yeah,
harder. So I have a question
yeah.
for you. This is kind of a hard one because we don't know. There's still some uncertainty. But what I do know is there's a good chunk of teams. We don't have to go through conference, but there's a good chunk of teams that we know are bowl eligible. So let's leave the teams out that are in the hunt for a conference championship game. If you could have a G5 bowl game between two teams, what potential teams or what potential matchups do you think would be fun to see? It could be team wise, it could be coach style, whatever. What two matchups
Give
do you think would be
give
really fun to see?
give me Temple versus UTEP.
Ooh,
Give me Temple versus UTEP. Give me Buffalo versus oh, give me Buffalo versus Western Kentucky. Give me that.
no.
Um, give me San Diego State and Memphis. I like that. And give me they're still in it though. I can't do them. Let me look at. 'Cause I was like, give me Chop in Western Michigan against somebody. I was finna say Southern Miss, but they're still in the hunt.
Yeah. I mean, it's still possible because I mean, it's not like Southern Miss is going to be in the CFP conversation, so it would still be a G5
No,
bowl.
give
We
me.
can roll with
I
that.
got it. I got it. Give me Western Michigan and App State.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting one. I'm gonna keep the App State. I would like App State versus Temple
Mm, two
because
contrasting styles.
they are
Yeah.
completely opposite. And I just want to see how Temple reacts to like how they respond to facing a team that is legitimately gonna run the ball on 3rd and 12, and you still feel like they're gonna be able to convert it. So I think that'd be a really interesting matchup because it's really a clash of styles.
Hell yeah. That
Um,
it is a definite clash of styles. Ground and pound versus the air attack.
I'm gonna take another one in terms of clash of styles. I'm gonna say Boise State versus Troy.
Mm.
Because Boise's gonna run, and I know Troy's trying to find a run game, but when it comes down to it, they're gonna pass the ball. So, and you have big body receivers, and it's not like they're Boise State, um, me and Iraq like to joke about the lack of speed and their secondary. It's not like Troy is going to, you know, be able to run four verts and score all the time either. So it's going to be those more of those long drives that have to score, but two different ways of achieving it. So I think that'd be an interesting matchup.
Hopefully, we can get some of these matchups in a bowl game for real. Hopefully, we can definitely get these matchups going. This season.
Yeah. And one more that I want to add, give me either or. So I'm going to take UAB because we just talked about UAB's defense and give me UAB against either UConn or UAB against Air Force because those are two. Air Force is going to obviously be a very unique style of offense. And I'm curious to, see. I mean, UAB did play Navy earlier in the season, so it wouldn't be the first time seeing it, but Dub does run it differently than Ice does. So that would be interesting to see. And actually, let me sub out. I'm gonna take out UConn. So I'm gonna just throw this out here. Florida International, or sorry, Louisiana Tech. I'm gonna need you to win out or at least get the 5 and 7 so you're bowl eligible. Because Fleet Freak is probably the funnest offense that I've played so far this season. He runs a pistol style offense. It's really unique and it's not something you see. I don't think I've seen a pistol style offense honestly since probably late PS2, not even
have a have a
PS3.
have a latte Air Force.
La Tech UAB. Since you like, I'm looking at
Oh.
UAB from a defensive perspective. Like they play, that team plays really disciplined defense from what I've been able to see. How do you
Hmm.
match up against a pistol offense? So I
Yeah,
think that'd be a
it'd be
really
tough.
interesting matchup to see. But
I,
Louisiana
I
Tech
I
is going
like
to have to get bowl eligible for that to happen.
I like if they do get bowl eligible. I like latte versus Air Force. Pistol versus option.
Oh man,
Love that.
the
Love
cameraman's gonna
that.
the cameraman's gonna be mad in that one. Like you got to pay attention to where the ball is, buddy. Those would be
Yeah.
interesting. Um, I'm just gonna say one thing. I know I don't want to play Andy. I love how you tried to sneak that in there. Um, if
What up?
I could, if I could play
What
someone,
up?
I would want to play Big Z because I think that would be fun. I remember the last game
Hey,
me and
what?
Z played.
You think it'd be fun?
No, I the last time we played each other was 10-3.
Oh yeah, that
So
that
I
that you
think
don't
like
like it
just
right there.
I would be curious to see how up close and personal he plays with the Aztecs. Um, we just haven't had the opportunity to cross paths since. But that was one of those games like, man, I remember walking out of that game like, man, that was, it's yeah, it's not 77-70 like we saw earlier this week, but 10-3 it can be very fun too because it just feels like every play matters. Ah, crap, I gave up a first down. Here we go. Like that just cost me 15 yards of field position if I can get a stop. So I think those games are really fun too. That's why I'd be curious to see who UAB matches up with in terms of offensive style. 'Cause I think that could be a fun watch. There'll be a lot of fun watches across the G5 for sure. We'll be rooting for them in pretty much every scenario. The outlier, of course, we'll root for. We'll, see who that is as we get
Yeah.
closer to the end of the season. But also in those G5 P4 matchups, some of those are going to be some interesting games because even though the G5 team isn't as talented, the coaching could help bridge that gap a little to make it interesting. We always see that every season. So I'm really curious to see what bowl matchups we're going to
If
get
if
across the
it
board.
if any admins are listening, I do not want to run it back with Memphis. I just want to keep that game as a one-off. I do not want to run it back with Memphis. I want to keep that as a one-off. It was
What?
special.
You didn't
It was
enjoy hearing
special
Rocky
for its
Top
time.
after all his scores in the background?
Oh no, it wasn't it at all. It's nothing against Joker. It just was it was a special game. I don't it's something that couldn't be topped. I'll say it like that. So it's just like I just want to leave that there.
Gotcha.
It's nothing against him or anything. Nah. I love playing Joker. It's nothing against him at all. It's just I liked like that game was like special. So I just want to just leave it there.
I kind of wish we had the instant classic rating. Um,
Oh, that shit'll
I
go
thought
off the meter. That would
I
go-
thought that was so cool. Like you play an online game and then it would trigger that it was an instant classic. So I mean, you knew it was, but just every time you boot up the game, you can go look and be like, man,
so,
that was great.
so what? So being, we gonna say from 1 to 1 million. What game would have triggered the million instant classic point? So for this game only. So the this season and last season, which game would have had that million instant classic score?
I'm trying not to be wrong. Like the first thing that popped to my head is Ohio State and uh
Texas.
yeah. I feel like
I feel like it got to be that one.
it
Got to be that one because the instant classic meter would rate like the importance of the game.
yeah. And then also the fact that even if you don't get the kick return, I still think it still would have been super high up there.
Ah,
But the kick return puts it over
yeah,
the
it would have
top.
been. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, well, let me ask you then, in the G5, a G5 versus G5 matchup, what do you think would be the instant classic for this game cycle?
UTSA Temple was up there. Um, North Texas Temple was up there. Um,
Sorry,
man,
on the wrong side of the meter.
yeah, they are.
I'll give you a different one.
It's hard to think.
The a couple of seasons, so we're in season 34. Uh,
Yeah.
so season 30, I think that would have been last year though. I'm trying to remember the no, it would have had to be last year. I can't think of a I honestly, I'm trying to think because last year I think it would have been the Boise San Diego
Who
State
did?
game. They were San
Yeah,
Diego scored
yeah.
SDSU scored on the last play of the game to win. It's either
Who did
one of those.
Wyoming play in the Hail Mary game? Did they play under the G5?
Yes.
That one. That one. That's the one. That's the one. That is definitely the one.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time thinking of one for this game cycle. I'm trying to think of something that was back and forth that went down to the end, but I feel like I'm looking. I can't think of because you mentioned a couple this season. I'm trying to think of something last season, like maybe Central Michigan and Western Michigan in the MAC championship.
Oh yeah, that last season. Yeah, yeah. That's the one right there. That one in
Yeah,
the Wyoming Hail Mary game.
yeah,
Those two stand out right there.
yeah. I
Those would
don't
have been the
remember who it
million
was. The Hail Mary was against,
versus.
but I know that if that had been me, I just probably would have got up and walked out the room. Like, not even say anything, just get up, walk out the room, mute the mic, and just Like we're just gonna cut the stream. I'll just put the stats in off camera. Like I don't want anyone to comment on it because I don't like. I now I have to know. I have to know who it was against. I'm scrolling up, which is also a good thing too. Block 7. If
Just
you want to
go
get your
in the
highlights in,
yeah, in the highlight thing. Go in the
yeah,
highlight of the season. It should be there all the way up.
because it won that week. I'm sure, or if it didn't, it
Yeah,
was
oh
very
yeah,
close.
yeah.
I'm
It
pretty
did.
sure
It
it
did.
won though.
It did. It did. It did. The Hale, I called it the Hale, Wyoming. Yeah, I called it the Hale, Wyoming.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I voted for it too. I'm just trying to. It's against Oregon State. Damn, sorry, Doc.
damn,
Good thing
Doc.
Doc isn't on this week, or he'd
Damn,
have. It would have triggered him right away. Like we're over here talking about it, not
damn,
even
Doc.
realizing it was against him. Oh man, that would have been rough.
Damn, Doc.
That's tough.
Damn
Um,
it.
but speaking of tough finishes, um, did you get to catch the family rivalry game this morning?
I did not. It was this morning. I was at work. I did not. I did not.
But did you see how it ended?
No, no, I did not.
Um,
Is it in the highlight? Is it in the highlight?
I don't think it got posted there, but
Oh, the return
oh, it
kick
did.
return
It
touch.
did.
Oh yeah, he did. I'm about to watch it right now in real time. All right, take this sound out. Oh, 5 seconds left. This odd ass camera angle. Ooh, no, no.
So this should be one of those situations from here on out for this game cycle. Jiggy crawled so the rest of us could walk. Stop
Oh
kicking to
man.
guys at the end of the game. If you have to
He
kick it,
kicked it right though. He actually kicked it to where he kicked it the right way. It's just the fact that he returned it and got that wide open hole. But
it's
he
interesting.
kicked it off right. He kicked it off at an angle to the left and it even hit the end zone.
It's
So he
interesting
kicked
because
it off right.
I'm a believer that I return the ball better when you to kick it to the side because I don't have to look everywhere. I only have to look in a certain area and I can still like everyone's going to move one blocker to try to help. It's an easier read as a returner. You need the blocks regardless, but it's less you have to worry about in terms of where you're looking to run because it's really only two holes. If it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. But when you kick it down the middle, I feel like you can still bounce it outside. There's just more there's more potential for things to go wrong. And I know people don't feel that way. That's just me. I just feel like I'd rather have the ball kicked to the side because I only have to focus on two areas of the field. And it's either left or right once I get there. Versus down the middle, I have to focus on what's happening right in front of me. But then if someone's coming off the side too, I think most of my big returns have all come off angle kicks. Boise State twice off of angle kicks the last two games. Um, when I played rope, both of my kicks were to the side, where I didn't get kick return touchdowns, but I ran it back inside the red zone. It's interesting.
I don't
I know
I
you
I
feel that
don't
way, and that's like I know I'm in the minority, but a lot of people would prefer the ball kicked down the middle. I actually prefer it kicked at an angle.
no, I prefer kick because I really don't return. So it doesn't like I don't have fast enough guys, and I'm not putting my running back there. So
Yeah.
um, I don't really return much with West Virginia, but if I did, it really wouldn't matter. Like middle or angle, I kick it at an angle, the exact angle he kicked at to the left, and aim it as deep as possible. Because I've only had two kick returns in both seasons, like one each season. That's the only I've only had one each season on me. This season it was by TCU. I think last season um it was by I want to say Texas Tech.
Hmm.
But this season it was TCU. I only had one kick return land on me the whole season.
Well, I have to
Using
ask.
that method. Using that method.
I have to ask this. With 5 seconds left,
Do you squib it?
that's what that was my first thought. I was watching the game. I was playing wobbles at the time, but I was watching
It
because it's
depends.
like if you squib it, you can get it to where a tight end is going to get the ball or should get the ball. Then it's risking. Do you want to try pitching it back? I mean, we just watched what happened with Penn State and Rutgers, where he had a guy directly behind him. Oh man, that game, I feel so bad
Yeah.
for Smitty in that game because there were so many things
Yeah.
that were outside of his control. But I mean, he pitched it to a guy that was directly behind him, and it shoots 10 yards back over him and gets picked up for a quote unquote 2 point conversion for Rutgers. Um, do you squib it? Do you just kick the ball out of
It
bounds?
depends. It depends. No, you don't do that. But it depends. I would squib it if anything, but it just depends on like, if the other person has come close or they have ran one back on you already. I'm an opponent of squibbing every time after that. Like if you got two returns where it was one that you did score on me and one that you almost scored on me, oh yeah, I'm squibbing it every time after that. But if it's a situation like this, where this was the first return, like the first significant return he had the whole game, then I'm trusting it. I'm trusting it deep, just like that. Pause. But yeah, I'm kicking it at an angle like I've been doing. I'll trust that process. If no returns have happened or no near returns have happened, I'm trusting the process in that. But if I've given one up, especially the point in time that I gave it up, yeah, I'm squibbing it. I'm squibbing.
Yeah, because that's what I was surprised when I saw him. Like he's actually kicking it deep, and when he ran it back, I just shook my head because I feel
Yeah,
like
he just trusts the process on that one. You just like if it was meant to happen, it was meant to happen on that one.
yeah, man, like I know I don't trust the defense, like literally ever. But I just feel like if you kick the ball out, I think it goes out at the 41. So they get the ball at the 41. So it's a 59-yard Hail Mary. Blitz a slot corner and force that ball to be thrown before the receivers can get deep down the field and just dice roll and hope something stupid doesn't happen. That's a tough way
Yeah,
to lose though.
yeah, that's a tough way to lose.
But hey, I mean, go
I
G5.
think I'm a name. I think I'm gonna name it. And yes, if you guys were wondering, yes, I myself come up with the names of those plays. I don't use no AI. I don't do nothing. I personally come up with the name of those plays. So when you see the name in the poll, I come up with that by myself. I look at the play. The inspiration is the play. So I look at the play and I tie it in with something, I try to be as funny as I can, but or as smart as I can, quick witted, and just use the play to describe itself. So I think I'm gonna name that one "Blood is thicker than turf."
Okay. Well, CG chimed in. He also agrees with Penn State, Ohio State for this year's game. Instant classic.
This year's game instantly. Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
then he
I agree
also
with
said
that.
he squibbed every kick version Arkansas. So he
But
wasn't
that
even
was
trying to
smart.
kick at
That was
all.
smart. But no, that was smart though. That was smart because of the returner though.
Yeah, he said that's not why
That
he
was still
lost,
smart.
but he's like, nope,
Yeah,
you
that was
just
not
squibbing.
why you lost. That was not why you lost. That was very smart. I uh I explained that in the live chat as you were playing because I think Weasel said like, "Why is he squibbing it, giving up free yards?" I'm like, I'd rather give up the free yards than a free touchdown.
Yep.
Especially, you never know how the game turn out. Say you was in the lead, yeah, exactly. Say that you was in the lead and it's 28-21, and you just took the lead, and then you got to kick it to that track guy, and he gonna score. Like, I'd rather squib it than have him score.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
few things are more demoralizing than special teams miscues, whether it's
Exactly.
returns, whether it's fumbling on returns, or whether it's getting kicks blocked. I had
Or the
to,
dreaded missed field goal. Jesus, I know about the dreaded mixed field goal.
yeah. I think
Oh,
personally the kick block is the one that hurts the most. I can attest to it.
oh, if it's a kick
I
block
I just
return,
saw this
that's
today.
double deadly. That's
Or
double
today, I just saw
deadly.
this week in a game I played earlier where the kick got blocked and you just felt the like all of a sudden just you could just see things just slide. I think what the kick got blocked.
I missed two in my last game. I missed two as well, CG, in my last game. I missed two field goals.
Yeah, those tell you what, the last time I missed a hash kick forced me to go for fourth down in my game today because I'm just like, nope, don't even want to deal with it. I was on the road. I'm like,
Yeah,
I just like, you know what? It's
I
fourth
could.
and three. I'll just try to get it. If I
I,
don't get points, whatever.
I had to take the field goal both times. It was like a 4th and 10 and a 4th and 7. I could go for it. I was just like, and not fourth quarter neither. It wasn't the fourth quarter neither. So I had to kick it. One was at the end of half, and one was in the first quarter. I missed them. I was just like, man, come on.
Field goal kicking has been an adventure for a lot of us this game cycle. A lot. Well, before we call it, I'll turn the floor over to you, sir. So I know you have something that you want to share.
It's a very quick ball Nor fact of the week. It has to deal with Indiana. Indiana, as we all know in real time, is having one of the greatest turnarounds ever in sports. Not just college sports, but in sports history. So, as far as the sport of college football, I posed the question to you, Sir Sammy. Which of these three, if you can remember one of them you're for sure going to remember. Of course, you in real time with this one. So, which is the greatest turnaround in college football history? Is it this Indiana team? Is it the Northwestern teams of the 90s that turned it around and made it to a Rose Bowl? Or is it Kansas State and Bill Snyder at Kansas State?
Hmm. Those Kansas State teams were fun watches. I'm gonna take the lazy answer and say it depends on what happens on Monday.
I still will rank it all time. Like, these three are the greatest turnarounds ever. Like, without putting a number beside any of them, these are the three. There's nothing like these three, like Indiana coming from nothing to being a title contender, Northwestern in the '90s coming from nothing to winning the Big Ten and Big Ten twice in a row, and competing for a Rose Bowl, and of course Kansas State's long successful journey with Bill Snyder through the '90s and the 2000s.
Yeah. I just feel if it, I can tell you, in my lifetime, I never thought Indiana would be like this.
Me neither.
So
Me
the
neither.
GG's to the NIL for shaking things up, but man, there's just some programs that like I just never thought I would see them be elite or have elite success, if you don't want to
Them,
say they're elite.
them, and Vandy having 10-win seasons this year blows my mind.
Yeah. And I can say even I know this is probably confusing. Some people are like, it's basketball, but there's the last couple of seasons in Nebraska college basketball. I never thought I would see that either. Like the NIL has really made things interesting in college sports, and it's still stuff is still being figured out. There's still a lot of questions that we know now that have to be answered. There's questions that are looming that once things happen, that'll have to be answered too. But exciting times.
Exciting time.
Well, yeah, good luck to
I, I,
Indiana.
I
Like
would,
I'm
I
not
would,
rooting against them or
I,
for them. It just is a good story if they win.
I would, I would, I would take the lazy answer too and say Indiana because
Yeah, if they win a
the this
championship,
this
then it's just
this yeah, that's what I was
absolutely
just
no
about to
doubt.
say. The other two, it would pale in it already pales in comparison from the other two because the other two didn't challenge for a national championship.
Yeah, but it's
They
it,
are now. They officially are now.
and they have been impressive.
And they are the only team so far in the expanded playoff that's most likely gonna expand to 16, by the way. The deadline for that is January 23rd for those who are interested in that. But they are the only bye week team to win their quarterfinal game.
Yeah, it'll be a fun game. I know we'll talk more about our thoughts on Indiana Miami next week. But now, and I'm already dreading if we go to 16, then we're just arguing over who's 15, 16, 17, 18.
The
It never
the
stops.
whole the the whole the you know what's the killing part about that? The Big Ten and the SEC are the holdup of why they haven't agreed to that yet. And it's their teams that we talk about that's in the running for the last few spots, which is the craziest shit. But January 23rd, I believe, is the deadline for that.
Oh, that'll be a what day of the week is that? That is a Friday.
Monday, Friday. Yeah,
So that
Friday.
means when I wake up, I expect to see, 'cause I'm off on Friday, so I expect to see 200 missed messages in chat and CG to go ahead and get me that summary so I don't have to waste my time scrolling up reading through all the CFP stuff. I've had quite enough of it
To
over
to to
quite
make
enough
your
about
brain
the bracket.
to make your brain explode even more. There was even talk about 24 teams.
And that's just dumb. All right.
This is the exact quote. The Power Four commissioners are expected to meet next week in advance of a full annual CFP board meeting at the national title game. There's strong support for a 16-team field to start next season. Uh, yeah, in 2026 next season. but a 24 team model remains a part of the discussion. If the Big Ten and SEC commissioners can't agree, and currently they still don't, the field will stay at 12, and the deadline is the 23rd.
Well, 2 weeks to see what that news will be.
Yes,
But
sir.
for those of you, a reminder, there is no poll this week because there is not a block closing. So if you're keeping track, you should have 7 polls done. Poll 8 will be week 14 or block 7. That'll be next weekend. After the conference championship games, we'll have poll 9. And then after all of the playoff games and bowl games are played slash sim, we'll have the final poll of the season to get you 10. So you should have 7 right now if you're keeping track. With the sim games that are going to be closing tonight, if one of your games is sim, make sure that you do the average for the stats. I'm sure Nidler will post about it because you should have just 24 hours to do it. I believe those are due on Sunday. So make sure that you're getting your participation points for that. Just really all I got. Just try to get these games played. Let's have a strong finish. Don't worry if you're burned out. The break is coming before season 35. You just got to make it through a couple more games. We're almost there. The playoffs should be fun to watch, but just make sure you're doing your part to not hurt your draft spot if you're going to be in the draft. That's all I got. So have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you later.